go.
All right, got that good, nice spike there. All right. So we're good. We're going to strive to have a good time.
Huge issue.
Ooh. Oh. All right, I'm quitting Yaze.
No! Well, it had to end eventually, right? Well, this is where we're at. All right. I'm going to bring us in a little bit here, if that's cool, unless somebody else wants to come in and do this and usurp me of my hosting duties.
No, it's my second ever pod. I'm not about to step in.
If you're prepared already, go for it.
Big man Jimmy Jeans.
All right. Give me 5 seconds. Hello and welcome to the YASEcast. It is episode 39. Unfortunately, I am not Nick. I'm Morgan, which means that I don't have another Morgan to tell me what episode number it is, and this is hard. So I'm going to stop giving Nick shit. No, I won't. Anyway, so we actually have an extremely full house tonight, including the returning guest, Jay.
Yo.
Come back.
Vince.
Hello.
Velius.
Hi.
Jarv.
Hey, everyone.
And a friend of the pod and first time appearing on the pod, one of my best friends, and honestly, probably the reason I'm as good at Guilty Gear as I am, the one and only 2P God, who just dropped off the call. It's like a thing with chip players, you know, like the whole find me and everything.
Yeah. All right, if I go out again, I'm going to have to switch to Wi-Fi.
All right, I hope not. Also, I should have asked this beforehand, but do you want us to call you 2P God, Toops, or should we just call you your actual name?
I guess Toops.
Toops.
All right, Toops. I'm going to fuck up and say your actual name. I'm going to try very hard, though, and apologize when I do. All right.
Fix it in post.
No, we're not going to fix it in post. Nothing gets fixed in post. A lot gets fixed in post. All right. Anyway. So we are all gathered here today to do a panel discussion because this past weekend there was a big old open beta test for that hot new Bone Storm-like game, Guilty Gear Strive. And we are going to strive to have an orderly discussion and kind of share our thoughts. So does anybody want to kick off? I know we also have some messages to read. So should we start off with maybe reading one of the thoughts and opinions
I think we should.
of the people who could not be here with us. All right. Jay, do you want to start off reading Rhett's statement?
Sure, I'll gladly read Rhett's statement. We have two statements from members of Yase who are not able to make it tonight. One of this is our lovely baby, Rhett. And I will read it thusly. I've got some time with GG Strive's beta across about 15 hours of gameplay from the multiple days it was live, and I finally put together my thoughts. I'll proceed with this. It's dumb fun. And possibly potentially overwhelming for newcomers. I feel like the game is trying to find its footing between accessibility and sick-ass shit and rides the line between the two in a way where the sick shit means breaking out of the accessibility chains that the game is trying so very hard to hold you with. I played exclusively with Zato 1, so I can only really talk about playing from his point of view, but over my hours of play, every time I thought I hit a limit of plateauing my technique due to the limited jump cancelable normals and odd gatlings, I would always find one more way to use the tools I already had to extend my pressure and my Oki. The strong players are going to have to take every little bit of improvement they can really find to set themselves apart from the rest of the players. The skill ceiling is very different in that sense when you compare it to Exerd and plus our skill ceiling being sky high. The possibilities for creative answers to problems are nearly limitless. You get that wild neutral scramble in those games due to each player having countless options. Strive, in contrast, answers to problems are usually linear. I find this fun though. I know it won't be great for a lot of players, but I appreciate the direct problem, direct answer approach Strive presents to its players. It's different, but I get what it's trying to do, and at least for me, that's fun. Lobbies suck ass. I hope on release getting to match players is easier, quicker, and less cluttered. Love, our friend Rhett.
Thank you for that beautiful reading. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I don't know if dumb fun is the way that I would frame it, but Oh god, those lobbies are so bad. I didn't use them. I just used the training mode matchmaking after a while because I got so sick of getting teleported across the map and not being able to match with people. Heaven forbid you accidentally clicked an R code and now you're sitting here for like 3 solid minutes to load it. It was a horrible experience. Netcode is great though.
Morg, do you want to just finish out your thoughts?
That's really what I got. I mean, I'll go into a longer extended thing when my own section comes up here, but like, yeah, that's my reaction to that. I think that's kind of the ballpark that I find myself in. Like, at the very least, I had fun. And I think it was surprisingly malleable. And the more that I played with it, particularly toward the end, I started using more of the blue Roman cancel stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, they gave Potemkin an air dash. That was cool. That's good. That's good. That's good design. Any other thoughts in response to Rhett's statement?
I think you hit the nail on the head, and that it's trying to appeal to like a wider audience, but in a way like it sort of like locks them out with some of the Gatling changes and some of the all the different RCs that they have. Instead of making them like discrete mechanics, they're all sort of just like lumped in, and it can get kind of hard to navigate, but still fun to play. I mean, if you enjoyed what you were doing and you just have like little issues with it, it's, is that something that you can work out between now and then? I don't know. It's kind of on you, or on your ability to be influenced by hype.
All right.
I think he's correct. The one thing that I keep thinking about, I don't know if a developer actually said this or someone said that their uncle that works at ArcSys said this, is that the changes they're making aren't necessarily to make the game easier, it's to make the game look easier. And that's the only way that the Gatling changes make sense to me, because I've been playing fighting games for about 10 years now. That doesn't make me an expert. That doesn't make me an Evo champ. But that makes me know what people get mad about in fighting games. And the one thing I've never seen is a game with chain combos where people get mad at the fact that there are chain combos. In fact, and people would be like, why aren't you doing ABC launch, ABC flying screen super like I am? Because that's really easy. But I guess before you put your hands on the controller and you see Dante do 3 swords on the ground, launch 3 swords in the air, flying screen super, that looks hard because you don't know it's just A, B, C, D, quarter circle forward, 2 attacks. Once you get your hands on the game, you know that's easy. But if you see combos where Soul does 5 moves and it takes 50% damage, you might look at that and say, oh, this is easy. But when you get your hands on it and it's a juggle combo, and even worse, it uses links, because this game has links instead of chain combos for a lot of combos. And that's definitely difficult to do. But if you look at Street Fighter 4 combo where Fei Long has a combo with 3 one-frame links in a row, and you can't plink it because they're all on the lightest strength, that doesn't look hard. It is hard, but it doesn't look hard. So that's why I think they did the Gatlings thing.
I hadn't heard that, but that makes a lot of sense. That it's less.
I buy into the conspiracy theory real hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Welcome to our True Anon sister podcast, YASEcast. So I guess we should. Does anybody else have anything they want to move on with, or should we keep going to the next panelist?
Next panelist.
I feel like anything I have to say in response to Rhett's statement, or really anyone else's statement, will probably just be covered in my own statements.
All right. So I'm going to read my dear co-host, who cannot be with us, Nick's statement. While interest has been up and down for GG's Drive over the past few months, I can safely say that my expectations were high going into the most recent beta. Unfortunately, my time with the beta was less than stellar. But let's start off with a positive. The netcode is fantastic. My video surfaced of players playing people from other continents while streaming and having no issues with maintaining a stable connection. In fact, throughout all of my matches, there was only one person I didn't have a great connection with, but this might be where my praises end. Considering that we've been hearing so much regarding changes being made to appeal to the casual player, the removal of Gatlings as we know them is puzzling. What used to be an easy-to-understand short sequence of normals has been removed in favor of something that seems to have a lot of rules. You can't combo from a punch to a kick, but you can cancel out of a kick to a command normal that also utilizes kick, or maybe it's all command normals. I'm not sure. It's confusing. I don't understand what the idea is behind these changes, as they only pile more onto the player's mental stack. What really struck me about the earlier games in this series was how freeform it was. The game lets you be as creative as you can imagine, and the systems allow you to create that allowed that creativity are relatively easy to understand. Simply put, the game was designed to give as much freedom to the player as they can come up with. And with Strive, I feel like the opposite might be true. The system is constantly getting in the way of the player's creativity, and it feels stifling. I think a local player worded this pretty well. The system needs to enhance your freedom, and it would be cool when you try to do something and it just sort of works. I don't like how it restricts you with the goal of labbing and trying to find better ways to break the rules rather than to explore the options that you have. I know I need to wrap this up, but we need to talk about the damage. Considering how movement feels so off and air dashes don't have any momentum behind them, a part of me wonders if these were decisions made as a trade-off for having the damage in the game be so high. Guilty Gear was never a game about high damage. It was about interesting mechanics, fast and fluid movement, and a great soundtrack. Although, yes, smell of the game is whack as hell. Unfortunately, at this late at the stage of the game, I can't help but feel not optimistic about the game going forward. Anyway, Honey Pop 2 rules, and you should go play that.
I think the air dash is another thing where they're like more powerful now, but they look easier to understand. Sort of.
Yeah.
One thing that's funny, fighting game players are the worst at describing how they feel about a game. I had this idea reinforced when I was watching Kizzy K play Justin Wong, and it was Chip versus May, and they were both jumping around like kangaroos the whole match, and then Kizzy K looks at the screen and says, "Yeah, this game is more grounded."
No wonder he lost to me.
Like, while the up back springs were probably breaking in his fight stick, he was saying this.
Nance is about to lose up left privileges.
Yeah. But yeah, and it always strikes me because I'll see fighting game players say stuff like that, and obviously Kizzy K is much better at Guilty Gear than I am. I'm like about 10 years behind him in ability to play. But once in a while I'll always have someone who's much better at me talk about the game, and I'm like, were you playing the same game I was playing? We just played, and the things you're saying have nothing to do with what happened.
We say a lot of words that don't actually mean anything, and they just like
A lot of words.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's a specific example I wish I could think of, but Jarv knows this guitar example. Every person in the universe who plays guitar will talk about how they love the warm tone. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a substitute for saying, I like it. And I think, like, this game is grounded, is, like, kind of one of those.
This game is grounded. Yeah.
This game is footsie-based.
Oh, that's it.
And
Yeah,
Street Fighter.
footsie base is the one. for sure.
Footsie-based or neutral-based game. Yeah.
It's having a lot of neutral going on.
A lot of neutral, or
as I
this
pop us
person...
into Papas.
Yeah. Like, this person had no neutral. Like, then how did he beat you?
He simply skipped neutral.
He skipped neutral.
No, bait the neutral.
Bait the neutral.
You gotta beat the neutral. I now that I'm thinking about this, I think that Toops kind of unlocked something in my brain about the importance of making things look easier.
Yeah.
And a lot of things make so much more sense now. Even like the air dash stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that people, yeah. Go on, go off.
Oh, okay. So
Speak on it.
Before, like, air dashes, the first time I looked at it, I was like, I am never gonna touch this game, and Arxis has literally ruined my life for about an hour until someone explained it and showed that and it used to be even more powerful in the first beta we played. You could block immediately from air dash, like the way Zato does, but he just drops down. Everybody could do that, but they could go like the full screen. And that actually makes air dashing more powerful if your opponent is not also in the air. it's technically weaker if you're both in the air because you can't get over to them as quickly. But if they're trying to stand their ground and you just jump up and air dash at them, it's much easier to air dash at them. They try to anti-air you. You bounce back full screen. But in fighting game terms, that means you lost nothing from that exchange. So you can just do it again.
Good game design.
I did this a lot against Nago or Ryuki. I did this a lot against, especially Axel. Axel gets screwed over by this change. Seriously. Like, I thought the Chip Axel matchup was going to be so much harder because I lost teleport. It's still easy because I can just keep jumping at him until he screws up his anti-air and then I'm in. Yeah. So air dashes look weaker. They're easier to understand visually, but they are more powerful now. And I think that's just kind of the common theme of Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Even stuff like, one of the things that I noticed and really I found very frustrating was how strong chicken blocking is now that you can block things in, especially grounded normals, without FD. But that makes sense if the point is to make it seem easier, because it makes it look, you don't have to worry how come, I can imagine a new player who doesn't understand the nuances of normal versus faultless defense being like, well, why did I get hit in this situation, and not really understanding it. But if you just take that distinction out and you can always block those normals, then it looks easier. And also Potemkin gets stronger, which is kind of the story of this whole thing. It's like a lot of these changes make the game look easier and make Potemkin better.
Yeah. And it's just, if you... This happens in Dragon Ball. This happens in Street Fighter. If you play like those lower to mid-lower ranks, you'll notice a lot of players default to just jumping back, especially if they have the life lead. They don't really see especially if the game has air blocking, they don't see any reason to just stay on the ground.
Oh yeah, dude, we run that
backwards. They default to up backing because that's like, I don't have to take high lows. If you're playing Dragon Ball, there's no real air throw. So it's much harder to just anti-air grab, which brings me to another point. I thank the heavens that this game just has air grabs and not something fancy like Dragon Ball's Dragon Rush or just BB Tag with no air grab at all.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
This game would be so much more of a struggle, especially against Ramathal, who's already good, if you couldn't just snatch people out of the air. Like, it would be a nightmare.
Oh, Ram. Mm-hmm. Oh, Ram in this game is
a problem.
I'm
real
sorry.
problem.
I play Ram only in the
beta, Ram player has logged on as well.
Yeah, hi.
Oh no, I'm in the vicinity of the corner. Oh no, are you going to break the wall on me from half screen?
I was so shocked when I went in training mode and just did, what was it, S-H, quarter circle forward, S, quarter circle forward, H, and then half their life was gone.
Yeah, and you wall break. Yeah. And it wall breaks. You just she can stick you from the corner from half screen. And people tell me that Potemkin is too strong. No, Potemkin isn't strong enough. Buff Potemkin 2021. All right. And I see you, Jarv.
No.
Class traitor. Why are you trying to oppress grapplers?
I will read from my thoughts thread on Twitter. More thoughts. Potemkin is illegal.
What is so?
That's how I feel.
Do you want to go next?
Oh, sure.
Jarv, go off.
Go off.
Go off, Jarv.
I don't have a huge I guess I don't really have a big structured piece like Rhett or Nick because I don't know. I only played the beta for 2.5 hours tops or something like that. I don't know. I come from playing Exert Faust and a little bit of Venom, but I like Faust a lot. So I was like, well, this Faust looks a little different, but let me get in there. And I kind of lost to muscle memory and trying to play a new version of a character that you love and you know really well, and it just didn't really gel. I didn't like his new command grab, the snip, snip, snip. It's on a different command. I didn't like the lack of pogo. I didn't like some of the items feel kind of weak. Mm-hmm. The trumpet is cool when you pick it up, but he throws it so fucking far that half the time your opponent just picks it up. And I had a Leo player pick it up and then immediately do Weapon X, and it was safe because of the fucking trumpet rush. And I was like, oh, this is broken. This is busted. But It felt cool to play. I mean, I'm not like the world's greatest Exert player by any means, like a 1 and 2 kind of tournament player, but it was fun. I didn't love some of the Gatling changes just because I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess 2 kick is like the dedicated sweep button now, and like, what else do I do with it besides hit sweep or like hit dust, I guess, but like I'm probably not going to do that. And then it felt like a lot of things into item toss as like is just like a general like kind of block string were really punishable. And then even when I tried to keep people honest, you do the scalpel pull, and Ram was just like, nah, I don't care. Ram was just hitting buttons anyways, and I was like, oh no, I guess I lost by putting myself in this position. But yeah, the netcode was awesome. I played friend of the pod, Kara, over in California, and it was smooth. Played Jacksonville folks, and it was omega smooth. Unfortunately, it's attached to a nasty lobby system. Just not very fun to interact with anything in that lobby system. But yeah, I think I do want to pick up the game just because I want to play a rollback netcode game. But I think I want to hang it up on Faust because I also gonna keep playing Exerd because I really like how Exerd Faust plays, and I would rather just approach a new game with a new character, probably like Giovanna or
How do you feel
a
about
character
Potemkin?
that I haven't touched.
How do you feel about
How
Potemkin?
do I feel about Potemkin? How I feel about Potemkin is that he is illegal and a war crime.
Hey, look. You're
I'm
not
looking.
wrong. You're not wrong.
What's up with the blue RC, like the drift RC input? Why is it so specific?
It's so
Like,
bad.
It just
The,
I
I don't get what
I
they're
don't know.
going for there. I think it comes back to they want it to look easy. It's like, oh, you just dash and do RC. But no, it's actually much tighter than you think. And I guess there's
Yeah.
a macro for it, but I just don't understand what the point would be. Like, why can't I just hold a direction in RC and then I'm going to drift in that direction?
I would like that.
Yeah,
Quite a
that
bit.
would just make a lot more sense to me. I don't see why that could be the system.
Games with dash macros, doing the macro is usually very good, and I should have used it more, but I said it and immediately forgot about it, like a fool.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like really, really good.
I don't think it's like super necessary. I mean, I'll get into that, but it's not like you play the game for 3 days. It's not like you're gonna have some hot dash in shit unless you were doing the dash FD thing, or like you basically have to do it to do blue RC drift because without the macro it's fucking impossible. But outside of that, like, I mean,
Yeah, it's just impossible without the.
I thought it was easy.
I
didn't even play
will say
King of
there
the
were there's a couple upsides with Faust, and I'm sure like pro MLG Faust players are gonna like flame me and be like, well, wow, you suck, you don't know all the good stuff. But like I kind of liked his cool new 5HH. It like bounced against the
with
wall.
the-
That was pretty fun. The Scaregrow is like, I don't know. I like Door better, but back Scaregrow PRC snip 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 is like pretty decent, and it's the new version of my like special move backdoor YRC Metakiri, and I like doing that a lot. So I like doing that online in Strive. His air dash is real funky because he's like, ooh. I don't know. He can. I don't know how to explain it to the folks at home who can't see me doing this.
I don't know how you can
he's
explain
just
to
kind
people
of like
that see you doing it.
I don't know. He can air dash, but like also kind of drift back or like drift up and down while doing it.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
it was really strange and really cool. And the new version of Going My Way, the fact that he can kind of like pull back a little bit. I don't know if he can really make that safe at all. If it's a block string, probably not. But that was neat. He's a real creepy dude. Really like his new design, but I don't know. Maybe I'll still give him a shot in the new game. I just probably need like a mission mode to like teach me some of the combos because I'm not someone who can pick it up in like 2 hours of beta test and be like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Faust was a character that I found very puzzling in the beta, and I had the same thought about a lot of his items. And I'm like, like the pro MLG Faust players probably are going to figure this out because I've been playing him in Plus R, But then I saw like Elvin and Ryudo and Hook Gang God, and I think even Nurjosh and a lot of other people I know that have more experience with that character saying that he felt kind of weak. And a lot of the things were around the items, like you were saying, particularly around Trumpet, that it seems like in the previous games, items are almost always good for you. Like, it's very hard to find a situation where the item is bad. Whereas in this game, like you said, Trumpet goes so far away from you. The banana peel can be really weird because like you run forward and you get a little bit of health. But now you have this thing behind you and you can't really... It's now restricting your own space. So
yeah, it like makes a corner for you.
Yeah, it makes
in
a corner
bad
for
way.
you. So,
Kind of
which,
sounds
you know,
like what they did to Chip a little bit, but I'll get into that later.
do you want to get into that now? If nobody else has anything else to share?
I have one thing I want to mention off the back of Jarv that I think is really important, and that was Jarv saying that maybe his input doesn't count because he's... No, not count, but just that he's like a 1 and 2 player. I think that's exactly the person that counts the most, because if this is a game where all the good, fun-feeling stuff is locked behind the things the top players do, then the game dies in numbers. So it needs to be as enjoyable and as approachable as possible for the people who are the 0 and 2s, 2 and 2s, 1 and 2s of the world.
Which is why you should play Potemkin.
Hey, boost those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers, 1 and 2. You
Look,
won't go 2 and 2
So
at least.
you're just gonna stack the fucking bracket, because that's basically what you're... Instead of...
No, I
you
think...
want to like the game? Do the illegal thing.
True fact stated.
True fact statement.
True
I
fact.
mean, that's
True
that's
fact
why I play
statement.
Rose in Alpha 2.
Also illegal.
Also
Get the
illegal.
fuck out of this
Okay,
call.
I got one more thing to say because I played against Ramlethal most of this beta. I wish all Ramlethal players I hope you choke on your burgers.
Woo.
Well, Vel and I will just see ourselves out to the nearest burger shack. Thank
Bye,
you very
yes.
little.
I'm gonna
Burger
choke on
date
a
with
burger
Vel
now.
coming in.
Funny thing is that me and Jay actually had fucking ramen day in September of
Mm-hmm.
2019.
That's right. We did have a ramen date.
We did. It was excellent.
It was fantastic.
Wonderful. All right, Toops. You good to go?
Okay.
Aye.
So I feel like a lot of the ideas with Chip is they were going for something and then they didn't finish. I don't think he's unplayable. It's just it reminds me of characters from Marvel 2 that have really good rushdown and mix-ups, but they're not Magneto, so why would you play them? Especially characters that like already have A-Way Air Dash, like I think Bison and Dulcim have it, but just play Magneto. He does the same thing but better. Chip is still really fast. He's got some okay pressure, but like I don't know how long it's going to last because everything's negative. But the things that really make me wonder if I'm going to play him in the long term is that his special moves are very unexciting. Gamma Blade is the main move where I talk about I think they had something in mind but they just didn't finish. So Gamma Blade now, it used to be like this spirit clone, like a force ghost you put out, and it used to give you +5 no matter how far away, no matter where they blocked it at. But it only went like 3 character lengths in front of him. Now it goes full screen. But if you hit it, you put the clone in block stun, you give damage to Chip equal the amount of the move, and Chip goes into hit stun as well. And so if you hit Chip and the clone at the same time, it does double damage. So if you hit Chip and the clone with either Naga Ryuki's what was it, the Seinfeld episode super or Ramathal's new I'm mashing the super whenever I'm blocking super, it just kills
Guilty
him
as
from
charged,
100.
by the way,
Yeah.
as a Ramathal player.
It just kills him from 100%. Doesn't matter how much health he has, he just dies. And it makes me wonder, like, why would I ever use this move? And I used it very little. In fact, a lot of times when I used it, I was going back to Exert muscle memory, and I had a moment of panic, like, why did I do that? Oh, shit. The other one is Alpha Blade. where I think this was supposed to be the replacement for teleport. Maybe like dealing with teleport looked hard, and maybe they thought it'd be easier to deal with Alpha Blade. And it crosses up from, I think, any range. But if your opponent is pressing any button at all, it will counter hit you because you go first, and then the hitbox little slice line comes in after you, and it comes in way after you. And also, there is no way to make this move plus on block unless you RC. So the first thing I tried when I went into training mode and thought like, yeah, I'm gonna break this character apart. There's gotta be something busted with this Alpha Blade. There isn't. There's not.
Sorry.
It's not. You can't make it plus on block no matter how hard you try. No matter what like sciencey dry erase board equation you come up with to make them block it on their wake up to make it plus on block, it's not going to be plus on block. They block it, they're going to hit you unless you RC. And so with those two things just not really working, all I did was stuff you could do with everybody else. My main mix-up in the corner was like knock them down, jump at them, make them block JH, air dash, make them block JH again, and most people just duck so they get hit. You can do that with every character with air dash. So, like, a lot of times I was like, if I was Milia right now, I could just put a disc on them, but I'm Chip. So I could do this wall run thing, which makes you, and you'd think he'd have like a sick cross-up with that, but there's cross-up protection in this game. When people wake up, there's cross-up protection. So you can't get a cross-up. You can just get like a whack high-low that they could just kind of time. So playing Chip was fun, but like every time I did a mix-up or a setup like that, I could just see the expiration date over it. Like this game comes out in April. By June, no one's getting hit by any of this. And so I'm just playing a character that's a rushdown character that does mediocre damage and has awful health. So it's still fun. I love Chip. It'll always be fun playing as Chip, but I know it's just the beta, and maybe I'll eat my words when someone goes to the Chip labs and Bears comes out with me, Sarvitz, and Rico standing behind him, saying like we have finally found the real Chip mix-ups. But until that day, I think that character's kind of whack.
I'm just imagining Bears and Sarvats and everyone exiting from a room with like a cloud of smoke.
Yeah, basically.
You got it.
We all have full.
We got it, folks. We patched the game and we added Sigma Blade.
Yeah.
You have to prove you're a Sigma male at the R code to be able to use it.
You can't use it unless you're a Sigma male.
The Sigma male, which is the equal of the Alpha, the Sigma Blade, which is the equal of the Alpha Blade, but chooses to break the rules of the game.
Yeah. It
ignores cross-up protection.
Is you coming back?
Oh my god.
Those are my thoughts on Chip. I meant to try out Zato or Milia, but I just never really got the time.
I vibe with a lot of that. My thoughts kind of on Faust, like Jarvis was saying, and also Chip were kind of like, I think this character might be kind of whack. And like you were saying with the expiration date, as soon as I found out there was cross-up protection in the game, I was like, oh no, that's not good for this boy.
No.
Yeah, and especially, I don't really understand, why his health is so low in this game.
Yeah,
because
he's supposed to be a character with no health, but like a lot of really, really good moves. Now he's just a character with low health with some alright moves.
Yeah, like they're all right. And then when I think at one point like we played a set and I might have like done like 6H or something into Gamma Blades, like the big Potemkin double knuckle move, and took out like 2/3 of your health from that.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, that's cool. Like I don't feel good about that. And I'm sure, like, it's like, cool, the round's over. Like, you just lost 2/3 of your health from that.
Yeah.
I'll just tag you. I'll just mash 5p for the rest of the round, and it'll work. But
one of the on the plus side though, Chip and Potemkin has this too, and probably Soul. Since all Dragon Punches lose to throw now, and Chip's command grab is very active, you can, if you know they're going to DP, there is no greater endorphin rush than doing a Chip's command grab, seeing the startup frames of their DP come out after they wake up, and then seeing them getting thrown, like Chip is telling them, like, no, knock it off, knock it off.
No, return to the ground. Return to the ground. You don't get to leave. Yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, it's a beta. We'll see what happens on release. But
Yeah.
there were just, I think Chip was the character more so than anyone else, where I was kind of like, I'm not sure what they were going for with this. And so I like the way that you put it, where they kind of started on ideas and then didn't seem to finish them.
Like, Bears told me his thought was with Gamma Blade, they thought at some point, or maybe this will be something he could do in the future, he could switch places with the Gamma Blade, and that's why you could hit the Gamma Blade and hurt him, but then they just gave up on that, but they didn't remove the hurt box. Because it'd be one thing if it was just a move that you could hit, because a lot of ninjas actually have moves like that, like Ibuki's Ninja Stars, you can just hit them, but it doesn't hurt her.
It doesn't just kill her, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't kill her.
Hopefully things will happen for Chip. Like, outside of him, I guess Faust, and I saw inconsistent opinions on Axel. I thought he was maybe not that great, but I saw other people saying he was very strong. So maybe they're all missing something. But once I figured out that Rensen was 3 hits, I didn't have much problem with them.
There's a Chip player who thinks Chip is actually really strong as he is in this beta.
Is it Kenso?
Is it Kenso? It's Kenso,
yeah,
isn't it?
It's Kenso.
I knew it would be Kenso.
We'll see.
We'll see.
When the game actually comes out. I'll be happy. I'll be ecstatic to eat my words. I don't. Yeah. In training mode, I just like to find mix-ups. I leave the combos to other people, but I was scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to get just like a drop of mix out of this character.
Just a morsel of the
Milia,
mix.
who's just doing double dashes.
Can I have a crumb?
I was about to
please?
say, Jar beat me to the crumb comment. And I'd also like to make mention that, yes, this is a beta, but with that in mind, it's still very informative to make mention of all these perceived character deficiencies in the feedback, because we don't know what state these characters are in. This may be closer to, we may be giving them the benefit of the doubt. They may have a full game plan for this character that just didn't make it into the beta. It's better to, and this goes for everybody and anyone listening, it's better to put as much information in there as possible, because we have no idea what their plans are. There's no developer patch notes on what's the idea for these characters coming in this beta and what's the idea for them coming out of it.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a quick note about Chip. The coolest thing I saw from him was the dust combos that end in Ninja Star, and then you land and it pops them.
Yeah,
so
that's
that way, if that shit was pretty cool. But like, also, I mean,
you also have to hit them with dust for that.
you gotta hit them with dust. And...
Chip just comes running from the back room. Guys, I found the Oki.
It's the toilet paper roll. I don't know if it's that in Strive, but in Exerd.
All right. Who else has opinions?
I got more, but I think it's time for someone else.
Oh no, go. We got time. You're a guest.
Speak on it.
So the lobbies, they're awful, and I hope everybody who's reviewing lobbies right now is just giving them the business. I don't want anybody to give it more than a very bad. Obviously, they need to know that those lobbies are terrible, except for one thing. One thing.
What is it?
The celestial floor, the concept behind the celestial floor is great, especially because the netcode is good. It probably wouldn't work. I probably wouldn't care about it if the netcode was bad. But so, like there's 10 floors. You get to the 10th floor. If you win enough, you get they unlock an 11th floor, which is the celestial floor. Now you go there as a challenger, and you have to win 5 out of 6 games to become a permanent member of the celestial floor. And apparently when the game releases, they're going to reset the celestial floor every month. And playing those 6 matches. I actually failed the first time and had to come back. Those 6 matches, I felt like I was playing a tournament again because I really wanted to get in. And the other side is that once you become a permanent member, you can take on the challengers and they have to beat you to get in. And when you beat somebody who's coming as a challenger and you see their avatar disappear because they get kicked off, you feel like Kazuma throwing his father off into the volcano. It is the greatest feeling in the world. Like, no, you're not worthy to be here. Get off my floor. Why did you even come here in the first place? Go back to training mode. Don't even go back to the 10th floor. Go back to training mode.
Yo, this game is going to cause problems. It's going to give people egos. It's going to break some hearts.
I would say, like, it's a great idea, but there's going to be some TV sets broken over this. Like, on God.
It's some holes in walls.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Especially like the way I was playing because people didn't know you could throw DPs. I'm pretty sure I kicked some people off the celestial floor who thought they were getting like some sick wake up DPs, and then just seeing like Chip do his like crazy ninja command throw animation, be like, oh yeah, I'm so cool. And I probably broke a window. Like there's some guy in France who's getting his like who's getting his TV or like VCR replaced right now because of what I did to him.
People learning about game mechanics at the Celestial Floor
At
challenge.
the Celestial Floor, yeah. And the netcode is amazing. The netcode is so good, it'll make you think about how GGPO is 12 years old. And we could have had this the whole time. And think about like how the FGC would have been if I could have challenged anybody from anybody anywhere around the world at any time I wanted to. Like just I got up and played at 5 a.m. and there weren't a lot of people at the Celestial Floor of the East Coast, and then I realized I can just go to Europe and people are up there because it's in the middle of the afternoon.
So you did a war crime.
I did.
Right to the Hague.
Yeah. I can't overstate how great this netcode. I hope this lights a fire under the asses of other companies because there's like the excuses are getting less and less. And
SNK, I know you're listening. MBS, I know you've listened to this podcast. Give me $1 million.
You know where the netcode just give us money?
Yeah, that's what I think about the lobby. So, what did you guys think about the lobby? 10 out of 10, right?
Everything what you said, I thought it was the worst system I have ever used for a game. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I needed a tutorial to figure out how to challenge somebody in the net play.
Oh my god!
But the Celestial Floor is sick as hell.
Yeah. I had to coach a friend because you end up doing this thing, where you unlock a door while the person trying to get in the passenger seat is opening at the same time. You do that because you take your sword out and then you see them take their sword out. So you put yours away, but they've already seen you put yours away. So you just keep taking it out and putting it in, taking it out and putting it in.
Showing each other your rods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had that happen a couple times and I was ready to chuck my whole PS4 out the window.
Shit was bad.
Yeah.
I like that there's a slide button for some reason. You can just slide around. I saw someone wave dash around. I was like, oh shit, we got movement options. We got some movement in the lobby. Yeah. I think the floor tower system should stay, but give me back the old Exerd sign lobbies where it's you're just a little square of a character that is the character you're going to play, and you all move around on slots and a couple virtual cabs, and that's it. Don't even give me the Revelator where you can kick the ball. I don't give a shit about that. Just make it easy to play with fucking friends.
All right.
Yeah, I was really shocked at the readability issues in the new lobby system because characters can overlap and your text box can overlap other characters, and the entire lobby is not one screen width because the news section contains so much information and takes up 1/4 of the screen
that I didn't look at the whole time.
You never looked at it once. It was
I did not understand that.
TV
Why did they give
static
me like a
to
4:3 aspect ratio lobby system because of that thing?
So, because I can't just like, and maybe there was a setting to like hot find through a list who was looking for games, but
I couldn't
I
fucking
didn't
find that.
really see it, and I shouldn't have to go fucking hunting for it if I'm being honest. I don't.
Well, the closest you could get to that was adding people to favorites, and then you could see what like park or lobby they were in, and then you could follow them to there, and then you had to hunt them down.
Almost everything about the visual language of the lobby system is fucking dire, and it's embarrassing because they already had a lobby system that solved all of that, and they decided to fix what wasn't broken and broke what did, and instead broke what didn't need to be fixed.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants next?
I've got opinions.
All right. Lay it on
Hit us.
Speak on it.
So I played Ram against other people because of course I did, and I'm a massive
Blocked.
asshole.
Reported.
And Jarvis gonna block me on Twitter now. So the things I really liked about Ram was that I actually felt like they simplified her toolkit in comparison to Exard in ways that made sense, and then a lot of her combos, the most popular one that I went with was faking someone like I was going to hit you half screen with a big sword, come in, block whatever it is that you try to do, triple punch into Daro to just get some, it's not a lot of damage, but it's cheap, and I can keep repeating it because my swords go so far that you're always going to be worried I'm going to hit you half screen. And even if that, she has two different overheads that she can hit you with if you're not paying attention, and when you send swords to the wall they fucking explode, so if you're in the corner you got to worry about a whole bunch of things coming at you at once, and it's her favorite place to put you, and it's pretty easy for her to get you there. So I really appreciated those changes, and she feels completely different from Exard in a lot of ways, even though she had Daro and Exard and everything, but it's whole different character, and it was enjoyable to be winning to an extent against people of similar skill level, because I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people who could just absolutely fucking crush me. And watching Sonic Fox play with Ram was like, it's like seeing someone who's fluent in another language and you're trying to just say, how do I find the bathroom? It was like a whole different character, whole different expression. And we talked about how there are things in this game that seem easy, but there's a lot of complexity that I don't even think got fully fleshed out in the beta. One thing I did notice is that I feel like tension matters a lot more, in that you don't seem to have the same amount of resources to use all the time. So you end up having to rely on Roman cancels at very specific points rather than being able to throw it out there for the same type of things that you could do in Exard. I'm not really sure how I feel about it because I didn't have that many options I didn't really have that many times where it was most appealing to use Roman cancels, but it feels a lot different, and I'm not sure I really like it. It's at least different, so I can appreciate it for trying to do something new in comparison to Exard, but I'm not sure how much I like it. Supers feel very different as usual. I was expecting that. I really only experimented with Nago and Geo a little bit in training mode because I was curious about what they did and decided that neither of them were who I wanted to stick with, although I did enjoy Nago a lot more than I thought I would. But it was the netcode was excellent, at least. Being able to play, I normally have certain connection issues with people, like even across the country, because my internet isn't fantastic. There was nothing noticeable in any negative sense when I was playing with people, even when I have worse connections in other games. But really what it comes down to is that this game, I noticed Arc System Works, and this is, we talked a lot about mechanics, so I didn't want to go too much about this, but Arc System Works has a habit these days of releasing a game with a premium edition that has a season pass, and I think this one totals up to like $90 if you want all of it. As far as games industry goes, that's not like a new practice or anything. It's been happening for a long time now. But when it comes to a new game, and when I play it for like 10 hours and I'm still not sure I enjoy it, asking for 90 up front for someone who doesn't make that much a year is a pretty big ask. So I'm kind of looking at like the premium version of it and just sitting here thinking, if I want the full version of this game, because they already know who they're going to put in that season pass for the first year, and they're still asking you to put down close to $100 up front. I'm not convinced, and that's kind of where I'm sitting at the game right now. Is just all these new mechanics that they've shown me. It's clear that it's a very different direction. It's a very, very different idea for, like your combo strings feel so different because they are different. Mechanically, they are completely different from Exard. So ultimately, it's like they're asking $90 up front. Is it worth $90 to me right now? I say no. Part of that is just because I don't make that much money. I don't have a shit ton of spending money during the year. I have, friends that play on PC, which I don't have a PC capable of running this on. So I'd have to play on PS4. There's no mention of crossplay between systems of any kind. I hope it happens. I mean, it might be happening with Fexel. I don't see why it couldn't happen with Strive, but I don't work at ArcSys either. So the ask of $90 for me is ultimately what's going to keep me from getting this until I have people tell me that it's worth that investment, which is just kind of where I'm sitting as far as Strive goes. Like I'm pleasantly surprised in ways I wasn't expecting at first. I'm also still disappointed in a lot of ways that I was not expecting either. And nothing about it convinces me, which is what this beta really should have been trying to do, to spend that 90. That's my opinion.
I think that last point is incredibly solid because we already had what was presumably like the first beta run a number of months ago, and that was delay based, if I remember correctly. That was not when the rollback hit yet, but with 2 months before release, this beta is definitely going to be like the big demo. Do I like this? Do I buy this moment before the game comes out? I don't know if there's going to be another one before then.
I don't think so.
Is.
I think there's only this one.
Yeah, probably not, but I'd like another one. Just because I'd like to play it more.
Same.
Yeah, same.
I'm also curious, how Angie and other characters that they've announced and aren't in it yet are going to play. It'd be good to, weather that a little bit to potentially influence my opinion. But, I mean, it's like I got the premium edition of Grand Blue last year, and despite the fact that I love all the characters in the Season 2 pass, I still won't get it because it's, $30? And I just don't have another $30 to get characters for a game that I will definitely not be playing enough, that's missing features that I want out of the final product. And as of right now, Strive is missing things that I want to be in it, and it's not convinced me that this is a game that I need to spend that money on when I'm still playing Alpha 2 like 3 to 4 times a week, So I can play Alpha 2 on Fightcade with all my friends on a PC that's, at this point 7 years old, and it runs it at 60 FPS, and it's great. I don't need to spend $90 on something that I'll really probably only be playing with friends maybe every few weeks if it gets to that point. So that's ultimately like just what I wanted to pay a little bit more attention to is that we live in a kind of golden age in a lot of ways for fighting games, and implementing rollback was a great way to convince people to get Strive, especially when it's as good as it is. Obviously, we've complained about the lobbies. I don't think you can complain enough about the lobbies because they're trash, but the rollback is going to be, in my opinion, enough to get people to get Strive. Because if it wasn't there, I would have simply said no off the bat. Like I probably wouldn't have even tried the fucking beta. And now I'm like, I don't want to bring KOF 15 into this, but that's kind of where I'm going.
Can we?
I was about to. I was going to interject, but I was going to be like, yeah, Strive without rollback would have been a dead product. Fucking hint, hint, SNK.
Yeah.
Those
are my opinions.
Isn't there like a whole thing going on where a bunch of people are mad that people are demanding rollback or something?
There's some like, general Twitter level shitheads who are like, man, stop complaining, and everyone's like, I will complain harder because you decided to be a piece of shit today.
I mean, not complaining is kind of how we got 12 years of delay-based netcode for no reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think a lot of fighting game play. Oh, isn't? Are you
My game
done?
had GGPO. Just saying.
A lot.
What was that,
My game had GGPO. Just saying.
Thank you, Vince. Thank you,
Vince? I
Vince.
can't
On
believe,
the
can't believe
PS3.
that Vince is built different.
Constructive differently.
Yeah, I know. I know we're getting a little bit long here now, and we have 3 more people to go. So could we? Jay or Vince, go.
Okay. So. Oh no, my Word doc. So I play Nagoriyuki because I've played 20 years of Soul Calibur and I like the big sword man. He was pretty fun. I like that dude. He hits sword, do big damage. I think what Toops said about them making the game look easier, that kind of resonates with a lot of what I felt about it. But one of the things I thought was weird was the stuff they did make hard is like just hard in a really dumb way. Like Nagoriyuki's combos mad easy. Like all of his stuff is just cancels into his special moves cancel into each other. Super simple. But the cancel window for his super, it's not that it's hard exactly, but they made it real weird. Like if you play plus R and you don't know how to play that game, but you pick a character like Slayer and you do stand heavy slash dot, like it's real easy. You just buffer your half circle back, hit forward punch, like it comes out. And in this game, it feels like you have to do it really, really late. And it's kind of like, maybe that's where they're trying to like, it looks easy, but this is where we added the secret difficulty. Maybe that's what they're doing, but like, why, man? Just let me do the cancel. Come on. But it's not that hard. It was just weird. Other weird changes I thought were like, why is throw on dust? I get that it's a new game. You're trying to do some new stuff, and I'm kind of picking up what they're putting down in a lot of ways, but that's one of these changes that's like, it does literally nothing except mess with everybody's muscle memory who's been playing your game for the last 20 years for no reason.
I actually know why they did that, I think.
Why did you do it? Why did they do it?
Because 6H is a thing. 6H is a button.
Yeah, but it was a button in old Guilty
no
Gear.
option
Like Saul
selects.
has 6H.
Yeah, they wanted to. I think they just wanted to add throw whiffs into the game, which I learned later. A lot of people really hate that there's no throw whiffs in Guilty Gear, even though that's kind of how throws were like way back in Street Fighter 2. There are people who just
One button
can't.
throws are the
You just
best.
really hate that there's no throw whiffs. Like, I remember Leffen was trying Exert, and he went off for like 10 minutes about how, well, like, what if you want to throw, and then you get a button, and then you hit them.
And you should have
hit
been
them on
standing
accident.
closer.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. And it's kind of like one of those times the flat circle things where I remember when I first got into fighting games, I knew a guy who hated throw whiffs. And I asked him how do you throw in second impact? He said, you press hard punch like you're supposed to.
I mean, it's a
yeah.
one button throw at 6 and a button. I mean, it's kind of whatever, but like I said, it just seems like it doesn't really do a lot for you except screw with people who played your game for a long time. So it seems like a weird change. But it does. You're right. It does give you throw whiffs without giving you like the button. So
I was just,
true.
I don't think you could have throw whiffs and still have 6H.
Yeah. That makes sense.
How would you do that?
Right. But as far as like a lot of like doom and gloom I see about the game, I think the bones of the game are there. You do got to remember it's a minus 60 day game. I mentioned elsewhere about ArcSys location tests in the past. Back in the day, if you were paying attention to BlazBlue, they would do like 4 location tests for that game. The new one would have just the wildest stuff you can imagine. And then the actual game would come out and like 2 things from any of those location tests would actually be in it. So, I don't know. On the one hand, I can see being nervous about it because ArcSys is very bad at this in some ways. But also, they have shown me in the past that preview and beta versions of the game, that might just not be the game, like, at all. Although, as mentioned, it is very bad for getting people into the game. If that is the case. But just something to keep in mind. And a lot of people, I think, really are overvaluing the ability of even really good players to evaluate a new game in this short amount of time. I always think about back to like Street Fighter 4. You watch even EVO, like 2009 or 2010, whatever it was, the first one for Street Fighter 4. People had that game for a while, but if you go back and watch that, like, they are bad. Nobody knew how to play that game. That place sucks. It is not good. So, like, I think if you don't like the bones, that's valid. But if you're really worried about, like, balance or what your character can do and that kind of stuff, like, maybe consider giving it some time. I think any game is like this, but this one in particular right now, we've only had, like, 72 hours of everybody being able to play it. You'll probably see some stuff develop. Other things that I think are like, as far as like the changes go, one of the weird ones that everybody complains about is to me anyway, is your Gatling combos and how like those are hard now or they don't exist or whatever. And to me, as like not much of a Guilty Gear player, I guess, that comes off as just like, well, it's not Xrd or it's not plus R, because like I've been playing some plus R and like my Gatling combos don't work half the time anyway. You can technically Gatling them, but like it doesn't do anything. It just doesn't hit, or it doesn't combo, or it does hit, but it's not a cancelable move, so you can't actually do anything if you do it. Like, so to me, that's kind of like what like, oh no,
which character do you
my
play?
Gatlings still don't work. I've been trying to play Faust lately, but I've been jumping around the cast trying to figure some stuff out.
I feel that actually especially about Gatling. Sorry to cut you off. Go on.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say was just like, as far as not being able to just do stuff. Like I was complaining to Morgan about this a while ago. I was trying to play Sol in Plus R, and I think it was like 2K, 5S, 2D, and then Bandit Bringer, not the hold one, and that didn't combo. And I was like, this is supposed to be a combo. It says it's a combo. Like, why does this not work? That's so dumb.
Yeah, you have to have 4.
Yeah, and Morg was like, well, you got to do that when you dash in.
Yeah,
and I'm like, fucking okay. Like, I get that. Like,
that's still in that's still in
yeah.
it's an extra and it's in Strive.
And like,
it's in Strive.
Guilty Gear be that way.
Of course.
I get that. But as far as like, the Gatling change sucks because now I can't just do a combo. I'm kind of like, I mean, yeah, but like, you can't just do the combo in the old games either. So that kind of is a strange complaint to me. My biggest complaint.
First time I played. Yep.
My biggest complaint about the beta was that I played like 5 or 6 games, and 2/3 of those just dropped me in the 3rd round for no reason. So the netcode seems sick, but I hope when the game comes out, I can play it. That was a bad time, and I think that concludes my thoughts. Oh, I take it back. I have a lower tolerance than most people about cinematics, but bro, I am already tired of watching the stupid wall break. Just delete that from the game. Take it out.
Oh, thank you. What the so?
When you get wall broken and everyone's gotta like,
Jarv acting it out on camera. He got his feet up in the air, being like, "Wow!"
Pretend one of my shoes got flung off.
So what Strive needs to do is Strive needs to put in the shit from Smash, where everyone's got the different falling animations, where they're like flailing or corkscrewing. I need the Smash corkscrew animation because that shit hits different. Corkscrew off the screen.
I don't want to see an animation, man. Let me do the combo and knock you down in the corner and like run a mix up. I don't want to watch.
I 100% agree. If I needed to see that many whacking, wailing, inflatable, arm flailing tube bends, I go to the nearest fucking used car sales sport.
You could do a wall break without being like a 7-second animation too. It could just be like crash and then sort of like, you know how a down kind of works in Vampire Savior. You just kind of like roll through, get ready, fight. Just do that. Do it in like 2.5 seconds, if that.
The ground slide animation from Plus R.
Yo, how about it?
Yeah.
Cool.
And add some.
All right, am I up?
Yeah, you're up, Jay.
All right, I ain't got no fucking Word document. This shit off the dome. Fuck it. We gonna be here for 20 fucking. No, we're not.
Please don't. I'm very tired.
No. I also need to get going soon. There's a lot about the game that I am very confused about, but that does fall under the category of we don't know where this build is along the development, and we don't know how much work they have left before release. The fact that it's only 2 months does worry me, and I feel like that worry is very justified, because when it comes to fighting game developers, it's a case of why do we trust them, because they never really seem to pay off on that trust very often. But outside of general balance issues, like agreeing with almost literally everything Toop said, I don't understand the state of the game in terms of a lot of mechanics that go into it. Like our earlier discussion about jumping and air dashing being very strong, and then the reverse serotonin I felt when I saw someone air dash towards me with like a big fatty ass button, and I was like, I got this. 6P counter hit. They're on the other side of the screen now.
Yeah.
I was like,
they're gonna do it again.
This sucks. And they're just gonna do it again. And like, why wouldn't they? Because the reward is so huge when you get in on me. And sometimes it doesn't work because I had to play. I was playing as a Mei, where like all Mei wanted to do was get into 2D and then do the fucking anchor drop in the air. And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Because if all I'm going to be able to do is 6P that, then congratulations, just keep trying it. Because you might cross me up, you might get the wrong input, you might hit the part of the hitbox that 6P, because 6P didn't feel like full, like half body invincibility in this version. So I was really confused as to what the point of those anti-airs were when jumping in and getting that attack was so strong. And also I play Ramethal, so I have access to jump S and jump H. Mm-hmm. So I'm committing war crimes.
Can I make a counterpoint to that?
Go right ahead.
Holy Order Sol jump H.
Fair and justified.
Fair.
There is a certain sense that a lot of mechanics were not entirely thought out about how they work in the confines of the game, and then also Potemkin.
Which is good.
Which is, yes, Morgan, we understand that you love fucking crime.
I fucking love Potemkin.
I know. I spent a lot of time talking with friend of Yase, TTTTSD, or Scott, about the Jokerification of Potemkin. And when we discussed Blue RCs, I kind of threw out there, I'm like, I don't really see why it's that big of a jump that you would just be able to manually control the drift once you pull off any sort of RC. It's an extension of Exerd, where you'd be able to YRC and see the surroundings. And then in this case, you would spend 50 meters, see the surroundings, and actually be able to drift. And Scott just goes, yes, and now Potemkin's broken. I'm like, fuck, you're right. And he's like, now can you sympathize with the developers now? Because you once again created a mechanic that works for the majority of the cast, and you forgot about how it affects Potemkin. The one thing that I think confuses me the most about the current state of the game is damage, meter usage, and low combos, which may be a symptom of Gatling. But this was an initial red flag when that one Twitter user, which is really descriptive, put up that early review access combo video of Giovanna. And every single combo in that video started with close slash. And I understood at the time that it's very much like how when a new character drops in Grand Blue, you immediately upload your 3EX super combo in the corner because that's how you get the clout. Bada bing, cha-ching, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay,
all the OD.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, you know what?
Hashtag PS4 share.
Let them have the clout. Like, I get it. You want to upload the coolest things. Maybe the coolest things come off close slash. But when I'm playing the game, there is a huge distinction between if you get close slash as your combo starter or as the move after a jump in, you get the damage. If you get 2K, you don't get as much damage. And granted, I did not play cast, I played mainly with Ramethal, but there was a distinct difference between close slash, you get enough damage, and 2K, you need to RC to continue that damage. And then you would see so much on Twitter of, here's this PRC setup that's a high-low. Here's this blue RC setup that's a high-low. And I don't understand spending 50 meter on those setups when the damage you get from going low is so much less significant from the damage you get from going high. So, because you would then need to RC again to get the rest of the damage, which makes sense if you're Soul because you just DP twice and RC twice and then boom, chip's dead.
I don't know what the deal is. There's got to be a proration bug on the clean hit from H Volcanic Vapor. I
assume it's a proration bug, which is why I don't give out about it and I just find it funny, but like it has to be a proration bug. So it's that and the damage and the wall stick that it feels like it's a series of mechanics that is not cohesive. They are all trying to do different things, and then when put into the confines of a game that's all happening at once, they don't seem to gel very well. And I don't particularly understand them. As someone who's played a lot of Guilty Gear, and Guilty Gear was probably the reason why I got into fighting games, I can understand completely that this is a different Guilty Gear. That's fine. It's not a game I enjoy. And normally I can find myself able to separate that, but it is very much held within the trappings of Guilty Gear still, which makes it hard for me to separate. So in the current state of the game, I refunded my pre-order, and not as just some act of defiance, but because for what they showed me, and this is their public showcase to a potential audience, this is not a version of a game I would like to play. And the most accurate way I can kind of describe the state of the game as presented was my friend Sleep Mode saying that at times it feels like a blank CD-ROM with fighting game written on it in Sharpie. It's a fighting game, and I can enjoy it as a fighting game because I can do the cool things that the genre of fighting games allow me to do, and I do get dopamine from that. Like, I can outspace my opponent, I can mix them up, I can throw their shit, and I can still feel good about that. But like, outside of that baseline enjoyment, once I get outside that baseline, I'm left with mainly just confusion about the state of it, its direction, what the intention was, and kind of just where do we go from here? Because 2 months is not a whole lot of time. If you assume that this production of the build was maybe a month or two earlier than this, you have 4 months. Who knows what kind of trust you have in Arxis to finish this game, given where it is. I don't particularly like it, and that's okay. Maybe it's not for me, and I accept that. What I don't accept is those lobbies, eat shit and die.
Go off,
Put them in the ground.
How bold of you to say something so controversial but true.
Yo, off the dome, motherfuckers. I ain't need no fucking script.
Damn, really calling out Nick and Rat.
Yo, yeah, get fucked, Nick. I ain't gonna say get fucked, Rat, because Rat's. I mean,
I'll fight you.
everyone's seen the screenshots of my old phone where I would type in "fuck you" and predictive text would just say "lamo."
Like the first option available.
But yeah, I think that's my biggest thing is the game feels like a mess of mechanics that I don't particularly understand the direction of. It works as a game. It's definitely a fighting game. You can enjoy it, and you are more than welcome to enjoy it. I just acknowledge that maybe it is not something for me.
And you know what's crazy? It's a bunch of mechanics, a mess of mechanics that don't work well together. I've heard people say that about older Guilty Gears too.
I mean, it's VTuber. The game is VTuber culture based on who they gave pre-order codes to, but it's also being a mess of mechanics is definitely Guilty Gear culture. But what's funny, this is kind of a tangent, but you know how this beta is going on, and then the new update to Street Fighter V comes out, and I feel like there's this perception that like Guilty Gear players like they love that. It's like this galaxy brain, anime dashing all over the place, sensory overload. But then every Guilty Gear player I saw be like, "Yo, I heard Ryu's good."
They finally put Ryu in Street Fighter V.
Nothing.
He can parry and then do stuff out of the parry. Oh.
Nothing gets Guilty Gear players more excited than Street Fighter when Ryu is strong.
It's because they believe they are Ryu. It's
footsie
like
based.
Anime protagonist.
Footsie based.
Oh, and footsie based.
Neutral based.
Stanky ass, no socks, footsie based.
All right, I gotta
jumping off the bus.
I got a crying dog behind me, so I'll try to be really quick here. Everyone else basically said everything that I would or could say, but Potemkin is not a crime. Potemkin is great. I love Potemkin. He is real and he is my friend. I think that what's really funny about this game in particular, and it's something that Jay said about how I think this is kind of a trajectory of the series. Is that they kind of make a game and they make Potemkin and they don't really think about how those things fit together. And that usually does not work out to Potemkin's favor. And in this case, it's just everything comes up Potemkin. Everything's coming up busters. Mm-hmm. Between meter, between damage, screen spacing, and how that all works together. For whatever reason, Potemkin is just like the greatest sense of himself. And it is beautiful, and it is pure, and it is good. And you are all going to the war crime tribunals for trying to deny that to him. Also, the lobbies suck. That was far and away the worst thing. But yeah,
speak on it.
Lobbies suck. The reality is, the balance is weird. I think it's maybe in a good place for most characters, but I don't know what direction it's going to go. And like Vince said, I don't know what it's going to look like on release. ArcSys is always weird about these things. So the only thing I can really say to it is I had fun. And it's the first iteration of a new ArcSys title. So look, first version of BlazBlue, Calamity Trigger.
Oh boy.
Y'all remember New. Y'all remember Arcune.
Oh, baby.
Now that is a mess of mechanics.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
Guard primers. Guard primers.
Who didn't enjoy fighting
first
against New for 80 seconds, getting in once, and then getting bursted back to full screen? And in that game, you got to burst every round.
That's right!
It was great.
So good.
First version of Xrd even. Elfeld. I played that character. I made money playing that character. I maybe did not deserve to make money playing that character.
You deserved every second of it.
1.0 sign a Sin player logging on to confirm everything you said.
I just expected this game. I walked in with low expectations that it was going to be a busted mess of disparate mechanics that don't play well together, but it's maybe going to be fun. And you know what? That's what I got. So I'm excited. I went through a whole arc with this game, and getting to the Celestial Floor and playing the game where I actually kind of had to turn my brain on and not just do hammerfall, hammerfall, hammerfall to beat people felt good. I saw the exactly what Vince said. I saw the bones of that game, and I said that game is good. I don't know if all the meat is there yet. I don't know what's really going on behind the scenes in developer rooms, but I see the makings of a good and very interesting game there where Potemkin is strong. And I hope that I get a good and interesting game where Potemkin is strong on release. I want to Kara potbuster people from half screen.
This might be because I'm a dumb fighting game player who is too free with my money on fighting games. but I definitely pre-ordered based on pushing 5H Super with Nagoriyuki being sick.
Yeah, like I was on the fence. I'm like, oh, extra beta time. Okay, I'll pre-order. I'll cancel if I don't like it. And I started doing round start heat knuckle with Potemkin and hitting people, and just the brain chemicals were incredible. And then on the last day of the beta, I learned that you can do 2H, and it sets up unavoidable Heavenly Potemkin Buster. And I was just swimming in a sea of dopamine.
I just
Good
want you to
brain
remember
feelings.
this. I want you to remember this weekend for the rest of your life, like I will, because you're not fucking getting that on release.
No. Look,
I've debated seriously archiving everything that Potemkin can do during this beta, because A, he won't fucking get it on release, and B, this is the most magical time for Potemkin, and I kind of want to make sure that, like, at least somewhere it's logged in database. Like, you remember the time that Potemkin was fucking insane?
I want it really bad. I want to hold this moment in my chest. The first time I did it, walk forward, walk back, walk forward, walk back, walk forward, walk back, Kara pot buster, and someone was too afraid to press buttons. It's good. It's a good game. So that's my opinion. I think this is a good smorgasbord of opinions, both in terms of people that canceled, that didn't, what people are looking forward to.
The Celestial Floor is good and Chip is bad, but I really like the game. You've all pretty much said in one way or another how I feel, but no matter how I felt about any negative feelings, I could not deny that I could not say that I was not having fun. I would be absolutely lying if I said I was not having fun playing this online.
Yeah, I there's no footage of me playing the game, but my one VTuber friend was having a blast. So
She's pretty good.
she's okay. I heard she has trouble with dolphins.
I heard she's a criminal.
Yo,
Yo,
call the cops.
Also, while we were recording,
The VTuber cops.
they just announced Skullgirl Season 1.
oh yeah, with the 4 new characters.
It's literally called Season 1.
Launch party still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. Said 4
Can I get a
characters.
fuck Mike Z in the chat tonight?
Fuck Michael.
Hey,
fuck
fuck
Michael
Mike
Z.
Z.
fuck Mike Z.
Michael Zymon, if you hear this, give me $5,000.
Yo, Michael Zymon, I ain't getting my fucking 2K from Joe Stimmy ass Biden, so I come into your goddamn house and you better have my fucking money, bitch.
You better not be wearing those raggedy ass shorts.
Yeah, I see you
You
in
know
the
he be
fucking
wearing those
gym
shorts.
I'm gonna see you on the fucking court. I'm gonna dunk on your ass with that 2K. Give me my fucking money.
That's a good
And
spot
then
to
give me an
end.
extra 3 on top of that for being a piece of shit.
That feels like a good
I'm gonna
spot
run
to end.
your whole goddamn bank account.
Gee, please, my dog needs to pee.
Okay, Hazel, go to the bathroom. I'm gonna keep cutting a promo on Mike's bitch ass.
Oh my god.
It's officially sponsored Yace promo that Mike Z is a piece of shit and that he can't see me on the basketball court, I guess. But I am 6'3" and I don't think he's anywhere near my height, so I could probably fucking earth him.
No, he's not. Yeah, you're actually like speaking truth. You're speaking truth.
Yeah, I could probably
Speak on it.
earth him in a fucking second.
Speak on it, King. So,
Let's wrap
so in a
this
couple
up. We're
months,
not
y'all.
topping that baby.
In a couple months, y'all can see Team Yace up in the Celestial Floors. Come get some. You know,
Hella.
Nagoriyuki's be hungry, and we trying to play.
You won't see me in the Celestial
I just
Floors.
wanna-
I'm bad at fighting games.
Yeah, me neither.
I
You,
just,
you can see
I
Toops
wanna-
and Morgan.
I want to attack and dethrone God. All right, are we good?
We're good, yeah.
Pluggables. Jarv, where can people find you?
At JarvDog on Twitter, DAWG.
Jay, where can people find you?
Idolism J, IDOLISM, the letter J.
Vince, where can people
You can
find
find me by traveling to http://yace.world on the internet, where you can find links to
That's right.
the Discord, the official Twitter, the Twitch page, the boutique, or this podcast.
Beautiful.
That was smooth. That was very good. Velius, where can people find you?
Find me on Twitter @_Velius or find me on WordPress at realbattleonfilm.wordpress.com.
Toops, where can people find you?
Nowhere. Leave me alone.
Chip players.
You should have said on the Celestial 4.
Come on.
You can still
it was
say
right
it and
there.
Morgan can edit it in later.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I'm just gonna put in the find me voice clip. Find me. Oh, all right. Thank
Morg,
you for listening.
where can they find you?
Where can they find me? You can find me on Twitter at Morganization13. You can find my cooler friend at Ricky Hirsch _ on Twitter. You should follow her. And that's what I got. That's what we got. Thank you for joining us on this little bit break from the normal episode, but I think we had things on our chest and we got to express it. And I think we've grown closer as a team, better as people, and yeah, that's good.
More criminal.
Yeah, go do war crimes. Play Potemkin.
We're gonna defend Morgan Court.